Okay, for my first video, I am going to show you basics of mapping for Quake in Worldcraft. Alright, so to start off, we're going to go to New, File, New. As you can see, a new window opens up. You want to maximize that. I'll make it fit this little empty box here. It's no longer empty. The first thing I always do is see where this says camera. I click it, go to 3D textured. There's 4 viewports. This one's obviously the 3D. You can use it to look around your world when you started creating things. This is the top view, the front, and the side. These two will look very similar when you're mapping. Don't get them mixed up. So to start, I'm going to show you the texture browser. What you want to do is this displays the texture that you're currently using. So what we want to do is go and pick one. Click Browse. Alright, if you click Browse, a new window will open. It'll show you a full list of all the textures you have set up within Worldcraft. These are obviously all of Quake's. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the search filter for your textures. I'm going to search some now. Just whatever you're looking for, type it right in here. So let's go with an Egyptian theme. These you can see after I typed in anything, didn't have to hit enter, nothing. All of these textures according to what I searched popped up. I searched SO since all of these textures start with SO. And every texture with I guess you would call it the phrase SO in it popped up. So the first thing I'm going to do is choose a good floor texture. And I think I'm going to go with this one. First thing, you click this. This is the block tool. This tool, the gray cube, helps you. It's a tool you'll actually use to build things. All you do is click and drag across. As you can see, this is the top view. It shows the top of your shape before it's made. The reason you know it's not made is because 1, it doesn't show up in 3D view. 2, it's this dashed. The box is made of these dashed lines. It also has these scale boxes on the edges of them. This one scales from a corner. This one scales only a side. The same with the other ones. Should be pretty obvious. This is the front view. This is the side view. So to create our first shape, you just right click within that box, click create object. It didn't show up here. It's because the camera's not pointing at it. So you back up, look down a little bit. Here's our first shape. Okay, now that we've made our first shape, let me show you the 3D view. 3D view is really simple. After you've put it in the 3D textured, there's also 3D flat, and then 3D wireframe. I like to do 3D textured because you can preview whatever you're making almost, I wouldn't say the same, but generally close to the same how it's going to look in game. It's a good tool to have. To navigate it, you just use WASD. W is forward, S is back, A is strafe left, D is strafe right. The arrow keys is sort of like looking around. Up looks up, down looks down, left looks left, right looks right. Okay. The next thing I'll show you is how to place an entity. To do that, click the entity tool, which is right up above our block tool. It's a little gray, white, I don't know, like light bulb, I guess. After you click that, your options over here will change. You still see your texture browser, but that's not really important right now. What you want to do is go to Objects and click this drop down bar. This has all the entities that you have coded into the game, as long as they're added to the FGD list. And even if they're not added to the FGD list, you can still place any one of these and change the name of it. Just use that without having to update your FGD. But for now, I'm going to show you how to place info player start. Info player start is where your player will spawn, generally in a single player game. This is how you base it. It's one of the ways. It's the easiest way. Well, maybe not the easiest, but it becomes the easiest. This little box determines where the entity is actually going to be placed. This line is just to, these lines are just to show you, like, give you a better visual of where it's at. So we're going to put it in the center of our block, our floor. So I made sure it's in the center. It's in the center of the front view, the center of the side view. Next, I'm going to make the grid a little smaller. To do that, you go put your finger on the enter button, go up to the slash, and directly to the left, there's two little symbols. They're like the sides of a square. The one on the left makes it smaller, the one on the right makes it bigger. It becomes useful. You'll figure that part out on your own. So what I'm going to do is make it smaller, just so I can bring the entity down just a little bit. Right click it, just like creating a brush. Click create object, and it spawns. If you look, it's right in the center of our map, right where the green box was. This symbolizes where the player is. Now I'm going to show you the other way. Info player start, right in 3D view, blam. Well, but look, it's in our brush model, which is bad. You really don't want that happening. So what you can do is select it, go into the 2D view, drag it up to the left, right back in the center. If you notice, I always place it a little bit up above our brush. So now, when we compile our map and start up the game, our player will spawn directly in the center of our map. But our map's not finished yet. We still have to create walls. A lot of people will write a tutorial, or other mappers might just tell you to create a full box and right click it and make it hollow. I personally don't think that's a good plan. I always like to do everything the more manual way. It's cleaner if you know what you're doing, and I think you get better results. It's easier to edit with, in my opinion, as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose a wall texture. What kind of wall texture should we use? I want to use this one. This will do. So what we do, zoom in, make a box, just like our floor, just in a different direction. No, we need one more up. That's pretty good right there. On the other sides as well. As you can see, I rotate the 3D view just to have another view of what I'm actually doing. There we go. All finished. But once again, our map is not complete. Next, you're going to want to give it a ceiling, because your map can't be open. If it's open, it causes leaks and all sorts of other problems. I can't specifically explain the technical sides, but more or less, it's bad. So, you choose another texture. What kind of texture do I want for the ceiling? How about this? This looks like a nice texture ceiling. ceiling texture, whatever. I'm tired. Drag it down. Create. Look at that. Our map is all finished. So you can choose to compile now. To do that, you go to File. Well, first you have to save your map. We're going to save it as tutorial map. At least I am. Save. Then you go to File, Run. This CSG, I don't know what CSG does. BSP, honestly, I don't know what any of this does. Basically, it's the different steps of the compiler. You all want them to be normal, fast, extra, whatever, depending on, you know, what you want. I think it affects quality more or less. Obviously, except for this, let's say your brush, all your brush work is done. You want a quicker compile, hit entities only. I think it'll leave everything the same brush wise and just compile your updated entities. So we're gonna hit OK. This will pop up. Oh look, it's finished. 2 entities read, which should only be 1 as far as I know, but it's a little weird. Maybe it's counting the world as another entity, but it's finished. Map has been compiled. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna minimize it now. We're gonna go to where our maps are compiled. Mine, I put it right back in Wally's folder. I should really put a shortcut to this folder on my desktop, but I mean, I already got too much shit up there as it is. Go into maps. See all this other shit I've been doing in there. Copy, and that's the wrong one. This is the RMF. What we want is the BSP right here. Tutorial map.bsp. Copy it, cut it, drag it over, whatever you want to do, but you need to put it in your Quake folder, local disk. So go into local disk C, your Quake directory, IE1, then create a folder called maps. Put it right in there. See, now go back, choose your engine of choice. I'm gonna use Dark Places for now. Let it up. Forget my slow ass computer. It's got a fucking D in it. Bring up the console key. Type in map. Look at that. All loaded up. This is our map. But you notice something. It's not actually lit up. The model's being affected because of the shadow from Dark Places, but if this was regular Quake, you wouldn't see any lighting on the gun. It would just be full bright like everything else. But that's another tutorial. So thanks for watching, and look forward to more.